because I am posting them. Last week I was out of town, so I didn't get posted until kind of later in the week. And as I said before, there's like 70 some odd videos of the classes that we've taught over the years. Most of them right here at Barefoot Bob. Now today, I want to review a little bit about what we've done already. I want to talk a little bit more about the stroke and maybe a little bit on the setup. And that's one thing I noticed last time. Let me just kind of go over that a little bit. You know, when you think of the stroke, in fact, let me get my cue and demonstrate. Sometimes when you're shooting a shot, too often we're in a hurry to kind of get the cue to go through the ball very quickly. So what we do, instead of taking a nice smooth backstroke, it comes quick and then we kind of lunge forward into the shot. The main thing that you're going to notice whenever you see a good player is they're going to look almost effortless. And here's why they look effortless. Because when they take their backstroke, it's a smooth, deliberate taper. And then you notice it allows a smooth, deliberate follow through. So the one thing I notice is you're not completing your backstroke fully. In other words, the pendulum is not reaching all the way back before you start lunging through the ball. Because remember, it's not a muscle, it's not a hit, it's not a trying to guide the cue. It's simply letting the momentum of the backstroke release the ball all the way through. And that's why I kind of emphasize the whole idea, sometimes when you're practicing, just go to the side of the cue ball. Practice that stroke. See if it's straight. Is the cue going to the right? Is it going to the left? Is it popping up in the air? And that's a big one. Because we're all want to be anxious to see where the ball is going. So often we get down on a shot and we're about halfway through the follow through. Like that. When I see a line, you still want to do that. But once you can learn to stay down and through the entire follow through, and just let the cue almost just relax on the table like that. So when you're pocketing a ball, remember the backstroke needs to be slow and deliberate all the way through the ball. And when you start learning to do that, it's going to become a lot more effortless and easy. All right. A couple of things I'd like to cover today that are new. And I put some little markers on the table. And by the way, these are just those office reinforcements. So if you're ever at home or practicing wherever, you can get a few of these to mark shots, straight-in shots, head shots. And even when you're doing drills, these come in real handy. But the one thing I'd like to cover first, what I mentioned last time, is the most important shot in pocket billiards. And that is the stop shot. Okay? Now we talked a little bit about this last time, and if you remember, to make the cue ball stop, what's the main thing I have to remember? Like let's say I want to get positioned for the 7 ball to shoot next. What should I be thinking? Lower your cue. All right. Center. All right. All right.
Cue ball sliding.
Pardon?
Your cue ball is sliding.
Exactly. That's the key thing. You want to make your cue ball slide. Now, when I say slide, it's skidding along the clock. So when it contacts the 1, it stops dead. Now, sometimes I notice when you're trying to stop the shot, you're hitting here. But in reality, that's not the center of the cue. Because look what part of the cue is hitting the cue ball, way up here. So you actually have to go slightly below that to make it stop. Because this will make it roll, and this will make it stop. But I still have to have enough stroke to accelerate through the cue ball, so it's sliding along the clock. And you'll notice that when I'm this close to the 1 ball, I don't need a lot of stroke. Nice, easy, short stroke. Stay down until you hear the ball hit back to the pocket. And as you progress, let's say that becomes easy after you practice shooting it 10 or 20 times. What happens when I move the cue ball back 6 inches? Okay, more stroke, exactly. But where do I put my cue tip to make it stop now? Lower, lower, lower. Why do I have to put it lower now?
Is that where they're travel?
Because there's more space between the balls now. So if I don't put it a little lower, by the time it gets to the 5, it might start to roll over. Let me show you what could happen if I don't put my cue tip low enough. Let's say I go here. See how I roll forward a little bit? So the farther away I get from the object ball, and I want the cue ball to stop, I have to go just a little bit lower. And I need a little bit more stroke. And when I say a little bit more stroke, that means I don't need much power. That just means I can just go a short distance back, a short distance forward. And that's what we call pocket speed. You never want to overhit the ball or feel like you're trying to muscle it. You want to just use enough force to accomplish what you saw. So in this shot, we go slightly lower, take a nice smooth stroke, stay down, so you can ball it. So that's drill number 1 I want you to do. I want you to do some stop shots from different distances. All right, drill number 2. Everybody's wondering about a cut shot, all right? Now we're going to cut the 2 in the corner pocket. And again, I'm going to do a little review here, okay? All right. If I get behind the 2 ball, I can see the center of the pocket is right here. The contact point of the 2 is right here. So where's my aim point? Remember our pre-shot routine, getting behind the cue ball, center of my body, aligned up to the aim point?
Kind of on cue ball, kind of to the right.
To the right. Okay, how far to the right?
So like that.
All right. No, it's going to vary. But one thing that we talked about last time about the cut shot is that you don't really aim at the contact point on the cut shot, do you? Because if I aim at the contact point, I'm going to hit it way too thick like that, and I'm going to miss every time. So where is the aim point when you have a cut shot? What do I aim at? No, I'm talking about my aim point.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Slightly to the right, we're getting closer. But imagine if there was an imaginary ball here. It's lined up directly to the pocket. And a lot of times when people teach cut shots, they talk about the ghost ball. So literally the aim point is the center of that imaginary ghost ball, which is exactly 1 inch from the contact. So I get behind the 2, I see my contact point, but my aim point is 1 1/8 inches behind me. So now I got my body lined up with that, breathe and relax. I visualize the shot, right foot on the line, swing down. Anyway, that will be drill number 2. I want you to practice your cut shots. But I want you to learn to align your body up to the target, the aim point, which is always a half ball behind the contact or the center of the ghost ball. But to tell you the truth, there's more aiming systems than Carter has built. go on and on. Everybody's got a theory, but it's not that complicated. Because once you learn to start pocketing balls and swing your 8-point, it becomes automatic. And I think that's where you want to get something. As we said last week, you learn a lot when you're beginning to learn the game of pocket billiards, and the game will go down. Once it becomes automatic through drills and other things, you learn to, it'll become second nature and become automatic. All right, here's something somebody asked me last time. Somebody asked me about the break. And I probably should get Nick Klein over there to demonstrate this, because he's probably one of the best breakers in Prescott, Arizona. Nick, can I get you to break one for us?
Sure, you have a cue for me?
Yeah, I do. If you don't know him, Nick Klein is a young guy that traveled to Asia as one of the best juniors in the United States. And we're lucky to have him here. He's a champion in the making. But anyway, I've always appreciated his break because look, he's kind of thin and short like me. But you won't believe how much power he can generate. Anyway, we're going to break an 8-ball. And maybe you can explain to him maybe your preference to break from the wing, in the second ball, or in the free ball.
Okay.
And we'll break this according to BCA rules. Now, just so you know, we're going to be having a tournament in this class. And we rack the balls in 8-ball. There's only 2 requirements. The 8 has to be in the middle. And on the wings, you have to have one side of solid and one side of straight. You don't have to alternate the balls or anything like that. And I'm going to try to give Nick a real good rack here. He can inspect it. When you do that in a real tournament, you'll have people standing over to make sure you're racking the balls. If there's a really loose area, it's totally, will cause a dead break.
So it doesn't matter what's in the front one there?
No.
I know you put the one there, but it doesn't matter. Okay.
It might be visually preferable.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Can you get my break here?
Yeah,
What's the difference?
with the break cue, typically it's a bit bigger, tougher, handles the impact better, and also the tip is harder. It creates a more immediate impact, as opposed to a soft tip that doesn't bounce off quite as hard. Smash it. So I'll try the head ball break first. I usually break a little bit off center. Sometimes I start from the center just to see how accurate I am. I'm just trying to hit the head ball as full as possible. Get as much energy into that full ball.
Sounds like Tom Cruise. More money.
One of them is for Milton, I'm not sure about the other one.
So you're aiming for the center and you're just going
Yeah, center of the cue ball to the center of the head ball for the center table break. For the side break, you tend to hit a little bit below center on the cue ball. You want to hit this second ball pretty full. The second ball, not the head ball. Otherwise, it goes way off. Creates not as much spread, but oftentimes it'll get the ball moving toward the side pocket. That's what you are intending.
Nick, what do you recommend for beginning players as far as a break and 8-ball?
I'd just say experiment for both of them, see what you're more comfortable with. Because when you use the second ball break, you're breaking from the rail, which can be more steady for your bridge. But some people, like myself, like a head ball break because you tend to spread it out more.
The other thing I noticed, Rick, is you have a really effortless follow through.
Yeah.
How did you develop that?
Watching Shane Van Boning, I noticed that he pulls back slower. He doesn't go jumpy and move his whole body. He raises up a little bit, and then he just kind of slowly goes through. That's it.
Let me put it this way, if I had to break for my life, I would choose this kind of break for me.
I had a lot of work go into it.
And you hear that?
Yes.
Guys that are champions in the world, like you mentioned, Shane Van Boden, he spends hours practicing his break. That's how important the break is when you get to that higher level of the pool.
Yeah, I've spent a whole day just breaking, practicing, trying to get everything smooth, hit that ball more accurately. The more accurately you hit the ball, the more consistent the results will be. So if you just work on that, you'll find an improvement in everything else.
How long have you been playing?
13 years.
13 years? It's just wow. Very hard.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
I'm 26.
He's still a baby.
I didn't tell him to say that.
Yes.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Oh,
Okay, one other drill I'd like to cover, and this would kind of be fun for you to practice today. It's something that we call the L drill. And it's kind of a fun drill because it can be very simple and straightforward, but it can also be very taxing and difficult. All right, we're going to start out with just 3 balls, and that's where I recommend you start. And we're going to put these 3 balls just outside these first 2 diamonds like this. Now, what I'd like you to do is do it 3 ways. The first way I'd like you to practice it is simply pocketing all 3 balls, but after each shot, take the ball in hand. Maybe do a stop shot in the first one, like that. Put the cue ball back here and practice 2 cut shots on either side. Now, this will be the first thing I'd like you to practice, the 2 cut shots and the straight in. Practice, and when you're working with your partner, make sure they stay down. Make sure that you complete the stroke and work with each other on it. Now the second way is a little harder. This time, we're going to go around the corner and play position through the shot. So the idea is to make the 12, then the 7, and playing position for each shot. And then we'll go from the 3, the 7, to the 12. So one thing you'll notice is that right away is not as easy as it looks because you've got to get in a position, in other words, the correct side of the 7 ball so you can get on the 3 ball. All right, so you begin to start thinking about what you're going to do with the white ball. So here, I'll start out with the 12. I'll get it nice and easy. Notice I got it on this side of the 7. Now I can go ahead and make the 7. I won't do it the other way. I'll give you the next one. The third one, you can take 3 balls randomly. But now, the idea is to make the 3 balls in rotation. So what I'm going to do here is I have to go from the 2 to the 8 to the 14. And it just depends where you put the balls. Okay. So I want to get somewhere on this side of the 8, so I can take the 8 and get on the 14. Let's put it back, make it a little harder. Yeah, about like that. Have some fun with this. You'll learn a little bit more about how to control the cue ball. Now this one, you'll notice I don't want the ball to roll. I'm going to have to put a little backspin on it. So I get position on the 14. And then of course, take the final ball. All right. Good question. Let's talk about that a little bit. Now let's say I have a position like this. We've got a game of 8 ball. And I want to make the 13 ball. But that pocket is blocked down there, so I have to draw the cue back a little bit with backspin so I can make the 11 inside. So on a shot like this, I do everything the same. It's almost straight in. Center of my body. Breathe in the legs, right foot on the line, swing down. But as I do my warm-up strokes, you'll notice where I'm addressing the cue ball. I'm well below center.
It was still even learned last week.
Yeah, that's called the draw shot. You notice I didn't hit that shot. But the main thing on a draw shot is that to make it go back, you have to accelerate all the way through the cue and stay low. If that cue tip comes up at all and you're following through, it's not going to draw, it's just going to stop it. But you know, Chuck and I will be coming around to help you with that. But I'd like you to have some fun with that drill there. Keep in mind that you can do it with 5 balls, you can do it with 10 balls, or you can even do it with 15 balls. So you can get it as difficult, as challenging as you can imagine. But let's start out with 3 balls and do it those 3 different ways. One ball in hand each time. The second way, you go around the horn. And the third way, you make them range. All right, anything more in that shot? That seems to be an area that you're real interested in. And to make the cue ball draw, the main thing is you don't want to muscle it, because that actually defeats the purpose. So when you make a good stroke, by releasing the cue naturally, you watch how easy the ball drops. You know, I had to move my tip out of the way. And I hardly put any effort into that. That's because it accelerated through the lower part of the cue without coming up with it.
That's a good point. It was right on the point on your, you drew back here to the cue ball is right here, sitting right there on the point.
Yeah.
How did you shoot that? Because you don't have as much.
Oh, okay. You're wondering about the bridge and how you shoot when you're on the rail.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me put it on the other side. That was something I was going to talk about today. That that's really important because a lot of times this is a very difficult shot, even for a professional player. And the reason it's so hard is because you can only hit the top of the ball. And what that does, if you hit off center either side, it puts curve on the cue ball. And therefore, it throws the cue ball off one way or the other, unless you learn to hit the dead center of the cue ball. So the first lesson when you're on the rail is use the center of the cue ball. And you don't want to get, here's the other issue that happens a lot. People put their hand too far close to the cue ball and they elevate the back end. Now, when you elevate the back end from up here, I can't actually see as well, can I? So what you want to do on a shot like this is just shoot it like a normal shot. In other words, I'm simply going to use the contour of the cloth, but I'm going to place my bridge a little further back and use my fingers like this to spread them out. Swing down. And the main thing on these shots you want to make sure you take some nice warm-ups. I'll do that guy again later. And you want your stroke to release naturally. The worst thing you can do on these shots is elevate the cue. Here's what I see a lot of people do on these shots. And number one, you can't see, but guess what? If you're off a hair, it's going to masse the cue ball one way or the other. So keep your cue stick level. Not perfectly level, but just on the contour of the fluff. And lay your bridge back a little further so you actually have room to stroke and you have room to see the shot. Like that. Let's try that one more time. Go through the whole process. I'm on the rail, center of my body, foot down, sweep down. Take some nice warm-up strokes. Stay down until you hit the ball at the back of the pocket. Anyway, that's a really good shot to practice because guess what? When you're playing a game, your cue ball ends up on the rail all the time. So you got to learn that shot. You know, next week we'll do a lot more of that, more on bridges. We'll also do on how to shoot over balls and things like that. But today, let's work on the stop shots from different distances and work on that L drill. And if you get into the cut shots, you know, Chuck and I will be coming around and helping you with that. Have at it.